Hey guys, what's going on? Andy Patnow here at Andy Patnow Golf. Just going to do a quick little swing analysis of a fader and a drawer on the PGA Tour. Both these players are very consistent ball hitters. Both have made long careers on the PGA Tour, and both are wearing blue shirts. Alright, so let's kind of go see here what they do in their golf swings to produce the certain shots that they like and most consistently hit. Alright, so we got KJ Choi on the left, Hunter Mahan on the right. So let's just take a notice of the difference in the top of their backswings. Okay. Overall, hip turn, shoulder tilt, pretty similar traits in those two things there. But then if we look at a couple things here, all right, I'm just going to draw a couple lines here. One from the butt of the club of KJ Choi's club straight down to his feet, and the other Hunter Mahan's straight down to his feet. Right, there's 0 there. And then I'm going to draw a line from the ball to there. And another one from the ball to there. Okay. As you can see, one line is bigger than the other, right? Which is what we call depth. Okay. So imagine for me, the old school football kicker, the old time when the Green Bay Packers used to play the Chicago Bears, the Frozen Tundra Bowl or whatever you want to call it, football in the 1960s. Those kickers and place kickers used to line up just straight behind the football and would kick it. Maybe they only get like 20 to 25 yards with that boot kick, right? But they weren't really known for hitting it that far, right? Then come the soccer players who start standing more to the inside of the football, and they started hitting kind of these draw type football kicks that obviously went further and higher, and obviously just went further. Right? So that's why that tradition and method is what you see now most often, especially when the players are trying to hit those really long field goals. You're going to start seeing them kind of line up more to the inside of that ball. Maybe for little place kicks, like little extra points, you're going to see them obviously line up a little straighter. Okay, so let's talk about things from here. That's just adding depth, which in my opinion adds a little bit of, I would say, some speed, or potential speed to your swing, and obviously it gives you some depth, which also allows the club sometimes to come in from a little shallower angle. Okay, so that's one thing to notice. If you're trying to play a draw or a fade, your top of backswing could help dictate kind of what happens. And I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, right? Because you got the Bubba Watsons, the John Daly's, right, that sit there and obviously don't have either one of these backswings, but can hit both shots and both curves, and yada yada yada. All right, but I'm just looking at two guys that will be easy to see and easy to point out. Okay, so let's bring them down now. Let me get rid of these lines, and actually let's keep them there. Let's kind of maybe help prove a point. Okay, so now we kind of get to where that left arm is parallel to the ground. Okay, on both swings. Okay, and this is where you're going to start noticing a couple things that are a little different. Okay, so both players here are going to have their hands and arms working with their shoulder rotation, which is nothing wrong with that. Most good players do. And this is honestly why I think Hunter Mahan controls his draw really well, because his arms aren't getting deeper from that standpoint or are staying at that depth. They're actually coming off his chest and rotating well with his body. Okay? So now you can see that the butt of the club is now getting closer to the golf ball, which is fine. That's what's going to happen with most players, right? When we start getting here, we're going to start seeing now, is this how much where the hands continue working out to the ball, or where they start maybe going more down and then more left? Okay, so a couple things here I want you guys noticing. If you still look at Hunter's line, his is still at his feet, right on his toe line. Where KJ Choi's line now is out past his feet. Right, so that's pretty typical of a fader of the golf ball. Right, where the hands are going to be more out in front of the feet, and the left arm's not going to be so far across the chest. And pretty much from here is that the hands are going to be more closer to the golf ball than the drawer usually. Okay, so that's kind of an evident one there. If you look at this in terms of where the left arm is at, KJ Choi's not so far across the chest. Hunter Mahan's are. with the hand still maintaining some depth. Okay, pretty standard and straightforward there. All right, so then we start coming down to where that shaft starts coming in parallel to the ground. Okay, and now you can start seeing KJ Choi's hands don't get any closer to the golf ball than that. They actually start going more left at that point. Let's just kind of freeze frame it right there. Let's get Hunters here. You can kind of see Hunters are still kind of working out towards the ball. All right, it's not until right around here. Draw lands there. Go back another frame here. Okay. Now that shaft is parallel to the ground, and as you can kind of see, Hunter's hands are obviously worked just a little bit more out towards the golf ball, which is indicating that the path is also going to start working out that way as well. Okay. So main differences here now is that I want you guys noticing the club face, or that is relationship to the hands. Okay, so let's draw a green line here. There's KJ's, there's his hands, here's Hunter's hands, and there's his club head. Okay, so if we just draw a green pretty line, just kind of represent that. One's pointed to the left, one is pointed to the right. All right, so you have your fader on the left, the drawer on the right. So if you guys are looking for key and checkpoints, and when you're maybe working on controlling shots and controlling curves and all that good stuff here, both of these club faces are pretty manageable, right? Not one's excessively pointed down to the golf ball, and one's not excessively pointed up in the air or away from that golf ball. Relatively neutral-ish club faces from here. Okay? So we're going from there is that if you're trying to fade the golf ball to help get that swing direction pointed left, you have to make sure that left arm is coming off that chest, with that club head maybe being sometimes in line with the hands, or maybe slightly just outside the hands to kind of help encourage that little fade. And for the draw, you got to make sure that club head's just slightly inside the hands, right, which helps make that club face, get that swing direction a little bit more pointed to the right, which will also help with that draw. All right, so the thing you got to kind of help notice here is that if you look at their shoulder rotation, right, really good faders at this point, when that club gets parallel to the ground, the shoulder is going to be starting getting square, or maybe even starting to slightly open, right? Which is definitely happening here at KJ Choi. He's at square, and now they're starting to really far open, and he's starting to get a little bit more lateral right bend to the right, which is where it's going to help shallow him out just a touch so he doesn't get too steep with this action. All right, and then you got Hunter Mahan on here on the right, where his shoulders are still slightly closed, which allows him to get that swing direction slightly to the right. Okay. Start going a little bit further here now, and get the impact, boom, and then boom. Okay, so again, pretty solid impacts here, some pretty good leverage. You can see that both their rotations are there. Thorax is getting open, the hips are open, the right arm is maintaining a little bit of bend, right? And KJ actually has, looks like a little bit higher shaft than actually Hunter Mahan does. Okay, so overall, look at those checkpoints here, right? Maintain the dynamics of your swing, getting into impact, right? Where you have your right arm still a little bit of bend, your thorax open, your hips opening, and obviously you're shifting your weight. And look at those checkpoints. Look to see where the top of your backswing is. Look at the depth that you're creating. Then look at kind of halfway down when your left arm's parallel to the ground. See if you're maintaining a little bit of depth, or maybe getting the left arm maybe too far off your chest too early. Right? Or maybe if you want to make sure you're not hitting a draw too much, make sure it actually is doing that. Right? And then obviously come back down when that shaft is then parallel to the ground, and see where that club head is in relationship to your shoulders, and obviously your target, and see where that thing is at. Okay, so pretty standard analysis there, drawer and fader. Pick which one maybe that works for you. Maybe tinker around a little bit, work on curve control, and see maybe if one kind of works a little bit more under pressure than the other. All right. So, again, Andy Patnow here at Andy Patnow Golf. Like my Facebook page at Andy Patnow Golf. And obviously, if you can email me here if you like at apatnow@touracademy.com. Leave some comments and questions below if you like. And let me know if you liked it. All right. Bye.